Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. Transport Minister promises a more efficient mass transit network. TNT Chamber hosts Barbados Minister of Industry, International Business and Commerce. And Montrose Chaguanas benefits from improved road infrastructure. Thank you for joining us. The Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce held its first quarterly business luncheon featuring the Barbados Minister of Industry, International Business and Commerce, the Honorable Donville Innes. During his welcome remarks, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Munilal Lalchan, stated that despite Barbados being hit severely by the global economic crisis, the country still remains very competitive.
Included among those sectors where we have invested are financial services, electrical and building supplies, food and beverage, automotive accessories, construction materials, paper, cosmetics, and footwear. Given the interest by the local business community in the economic affairs of Barbados, and with trade with Barbados well over United States $250 million in goods, the Chamber is extremely pleased to have the Honorable Minister address us today on the reform his government plans to initiate to protect investments in Barbados and to develop further opportunities for the resuscitation of their economy.
The Chamber President said even as the global economic crisis still lingers, governments in seeking to increase its trading reach should look within to regional markets.
As Trinidad and Tobago seeks to increase its trading reach, we often look to extra-regional markets. However, as the long-term effects of the global financial crisis still linger and these international markets contract, it is our best interest to further explore the opportunities presented within our own region.
Meanwhile, delivering the feature address, Barbados' Minister of Industry, International Business and Commerce, Donville Innes, stated that both countries enjoyed good trade relations with each other, but there was an ongoing trade imbalance. But stating that he was not here to lecture or make cheap political platitudes, he addressed Barbados' economic and social conditions and what his government was doing to upgrade and improve.
In respect of the present state of affairs at home, Barbados is of course challenged with a large expenditure for the public sector, especially its wages bill and debt financing. I believe approximately 54 cents out of every dollar we collect in state revenue goes towards paying wages and salaries in the public sector. We also, of course, have an uncomfortable fiscal deficit, which is currently about 6%. A persistent and consistent need to maintain a comfortable level of foreign reserves, non-optimal performance of our tourism and international business sectors, our two main areas of foreign exchange earnings, productivity levels, and of course, an abundance of political noise to cover it all. Now, as we look towards the future now, faced with these challenges, the government has set about to outline a series of policies and programs designed to first stop further decline and to restore Barbados to a growth mode. But before mentioning such, it is important that we clearly establish what are the goals of the government today. One, we intend to obtain a growth rate of 3% per annum, reduce the deficit to 2% by the year 2020, restructure the public service to allow it to be more proactive, responsive, financially prudent, and technologically sound. Of course, we are also committed to better debt management.
Felicia Wilson, Mon News 4.
In other news, citizens may soon decide to leave their cars at home in favor of public transportation. This comes as the Ministry of Transport seeks to ensure that its mass transportation network is efficient and capable of serving thousands of commuters on a daily basis.
There has been some incremental improvements. Our road network has not kept a pace with the level of the development we've been experiencing. There are now over 700,000 registered vehicles in Trinidad and Tobago with a population of 1.3 million people. When compared to the neighboring countries of Latin and South America, Trinidad and Tobago has the highest motorized population relative to its size.
The Ministry of Transport's Permanent Secretary said the transportation infrastructure and urban and spatial plans have not been able to keep pace with the increase in travel demand and have resulted in severe congestion and long travel times in many instances. She was speaking at a one-day mass transportation discussion forum hosted by the Ministry of Transport on Monday at the Hyatt Regency Trinidad. The forum examined the public transportation system in Trinidad and Tobago and the possible ways of improving it. Also speaking at the event was Minister of Transport, the Honourable Stephen Cadiz, who revealed his expectations for the discussions.
I am hoping that that will be a thing of the past, that very, very soon, with the ideas that come out of this particular forum, that we actually find a solution that is practical, find a solution that we can in fact implement, find a solution that the country can in fact afford, and not only afford to build the system if that is what is required, but to actually maintain and run an efficient public transport system.
The Honourable Minister cited 8 modes of transportation that citizens utilize on a daily basis. However, Minister Cadiz said his hope for public transportation is that it would be the preferred mode of transportation for citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
Soon enough, I am hoping that the option for every single citizen is, I am leaving my car at home. Trinidadians love their cars and they will always have cars, and I don't have a problem with that. But today I'm going to leave my car at home because I know the 10 o'clock bus is going to arrive at 10 o'clock, and I know that the ferry is going to leave at 7 o'clock, and I know I can set my watch by public transport. And that is what I'm hoping in the long run. That is what I hope to be able to achieve for Trinidad and Tobago, an efficient public transport system, which is going to be the preferred option for any one of us who are traveling.
Several local transport and traffic experts addressed the forum, along with visited experts in the field of mass transportation. Following the discussions, those in attendance toured a number of facilities relevant to public transport in Trinidad and Tobago. The one-day forum was expected to suggest the way forward for this significant sector, which includes the possibility of greater interconnectivity. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. George Street, Montrose, Chaguanas has become fully accessible again. This after Dr. the Honourable Glenn Ramadar Singh, Minister of the People and Social Development, officially opened the road network after it was intermittently blocked for approximately 5 months to facilitate road repairs and drainage upgrades.
Dr. the Honourable Glenn Ramadar Singh, Minister of the People and Social Development, has applauded the residents along George Street, Montrose, Chaguanas for their patience throughout the entire 5-month road and drain construction period. As the minister addressed the ceremony to officially open the road, he explained that after a walkabout in the area months ago, he was dismayed that the well-developed area had such dilapidated roads and poor drainage. He said he was happy that the over 30 households would benefit from the new facilities.
It was not more than 5 months ago that we had a walkabout in this community. And when we were looking at the various requirements and needs of the community, there was this portion of Montrose that is in fact a very well-developed area where there's businesses. I mean, if you look, you will see businesses on both sides of the road. And there was earthen and dilapidated drains. While in many other parts, you have excellent drainage. This part was inadvertently left out. And therefore, we took top priority to ensure that the 30 households that will benefit from these drainage works get that relief immediately.
The minister also disclosed that there were several other million-dollar projects taking place in the Caroni Central area.
Throughout the length and breadth of Caroni Central, we have civil and infrastructural work in the tens of millions of dollars throughout the length and breadth. We are opening the Rodney Road Bridge as we speak. The Freeport flyover is now opened up for traffic like never before. You would recall that from 5 o'clock in the afternoon there'd be gridlock to get into Mission Road and Arena Road and to get on to Presal and Grand Couva and those areas. Now you have the opening up of 2 roadways to the left and to the right, and we've moved the pavements from under the flyover and have them under the flyover, making way for the free flow of pedestrians, and so that too has allowed more access. So this is really uplifting the lives of our residents.
Felicia Wilson, Mon News 4.
Minister of Community Development and Chair of the Community Development Fund, the Honorable Winston Gypsy Peters, donated a new bus to the Roxborough Elderly Center, a branch of the Roxborough Police Youth Club. This bus will be used to transport the elderly to and from the center, as well as preschool children in the community.
The bus was handed over to the Roxborough Police Youth Club parent body to take care of the needs of the senior citizens who are part of the Elderly Night Nurse Program, a project made possible through the collaboration of the Ministry of Community Development and the Community Development Fund.
The fund is a very integral part of the ministry. It is the flagship agency geared at enabling non-governmental organizations to address poverty alleviation and support sustainable community development. It is one of the agencies under the ministry that contributes positively to the progress and building of what we like to call resilient communities.
Chair of the Community Development Fund, Ms. Donna Faraz, also noted that CDF has an office that deals directly with issues in Tobago. She also stated that CDF would have held a number of events on the island, including the training of persons in project proposal development. Minister of Community Development, the Honorable Winston Peters, in his feature address, said the bus was delivered to the Roxborough Police Youth Club unofficially in the month of November.
We could have kept the bus and say that we're going to give it to you today. But when we understand that there is a need for something, you don't keep it. This could always be done. We're doing it today, and it gives you the same bus.
The minister also took the opportunity to update the Tobago audience on works done in Tobago.
I am looking forward to further collaboration with the Tobago House of Assembly and the Ministry of Tobago Development on matters that can be beneficial to all. Since my appointment as Minister of Community Development, the strengthening of my ministry ties with Tobago has been a matter of priority for me. Last May, the Ministry of Community Development and the Division of Community Development and Culture of the THA met to explore a more integrated approach of operating, sharing best practices, and delivering quality service and support to our citizens.
Talks about once again incorporating Tobago in the annual Best Village competition and developing the Tobago Heritage Festival was some of the topics discussed between the Tobago House of Assembly and the Ministry of Community Development. Minister Peters congratulated the Roxborough Police Youth Club and said they set the tone for other communities to emanate, since he says this is the way one must go to improve the nation. Coordinator of the Roxborough Police Youth Club and award recipient for the National Community Heroes Award, Inspector Collis Hazel, expressed his sincerest gratitude to the Ministry of Community Development and the Community Development Fund for assisting in the development of the Roxborough Police Youth Club and more so the parent body with a new bus. This brings the total to 2 buses for the 22-year-old club.
Here we are today to hand over this brand new facility which will transport the persons from the Police Youth Club, from the Elderly Activity Center, from the parent body in all their endeavors.
The ribbon was cut by Minister Peters and the bus keys officially handed over to one of the members of the parent body of the Roxborough Police Youth Club. Reporting from Tobago, Natoya Johnson, News 4.
Sport is next. Stay with us. Following the heartbreaking 7-3 defeat to Costa Rica in the third-place playoff of the CONCACAF Women's Under-20 Championship, News 4 Sports caught up with TTFA General Secretary Sheldon Phillips, and he spoke to Wayne Cunningham about the way forward for women's football in Trinidad and Tobago.
News for Sports at the CONCACAF Women's Under-20 Championship, courtesy the Ministry of Sport and the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago.
We are here with Sheldon Phillips, General Secretary of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, following Trinidad and Tobago's 6-3 loss to Costa Rica in the third place playoff in the CONCACAF Women's Under-20 Championship. Sheldon, tell us what's the way forward for Trinidad and Tobago football? We have reached far, but we need to get over that hurdle.
Well, I think two things that certainly came evident in the game. The overall fitness when you get into, plus 90 minutes. It was very clear that the team, ran out of gas a bit, and I think there was also a bit of deflation from that third goal. The non-call that came about as a result of the Costa Rica's third goal. So I think certainly impacted the spirit of the team. So those are the two things that you certainly want to look at and and try to improve upon. Not only with this team, I think, but in general throughout throughout our women's teams, we want to concentrate on the fitness as much as possible. But as you mentioned, we're very proud of the the amount of progress the women have made. They made it to very, very close to getting to the World Cup. Couldn't get the job done, and really boiled down to the last 10 minutes of the game. But we're trending right still. Still have a ways to go, but we are, we have to look at it philosophically and see that, that the team is moving and program is moving in the right direction. We just, like you said, still have a hurdle or two to cross over.
After this showing here in Grand Cayman in this tournament, women's football, will it get more prominence in Trinidad and Tobago?
I think so. I think having the game be televised live back home will certainly help. It'll raise the level and profile of the U20 program, I think the women's program in general. And we need the country, we need the support, to come behind the women's program in order for it to grow, and get to the next level. Because from where we are now to where we need to go, it's a struggle, and we can't do it by ourselves. We need the help of the public, we need the continued support of the government. So I think and I hope that the profile of the women's game will continue to grow.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago will continue to invest highly in sport in Trinidad and Tobago, and they invested in this team, and they were more or less backing this team to go to Canada. What will you tell the government with regards to putting more into football? Because probably they will say, well, okay, we backed this team and they didn't make it, they didn't jump the hurdle, but we have other teams coming up. What will you tell the government with regards to supporting teams heading forward to other World Cup qualifiers?
Well, to certainly continue their efforts and their support. It's a continuous effort that has to be made for not only this U20 team, but we have a U13, U15 program, U17 program coming up around the corner. We have the senior women's team that has an excellent opportunity to qualify for the Women's World Cup, and we have to come away from the approach of basically discontinuing programs once the competition is over. We have to keep the teams together, and that is the only way to see the type of improvement that we'll need to establish in order to get to that next level. So and I believe based upon our conversations with the minister and other folks at sport, they recognize that the support from their side is extremely vital and important for us to get to the next level.
Thank you very much, Sheldon. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, creditable fourth place in the CONCACAF Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifier here in Grand Cayman. We did not make it, but we look good. I'm Wayne Cunningham, reporting from Grand Cayman for News for Sport.
And we always look good. More news after the break. Stay with us. Two local groups were afforded the opportunity to meet with the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, His Excellency Anthony Carmona, earlier this week to speak on topics relevant to their operations. The President welcomed both groups warmly and is expected to continue a close relationship with both private and public entities.
On Wednesday, His Excellency Anthony Carmona was paid two courtesy calls by the End Hunger Committee and the American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago. The End Hunger Committee has been the host of the End Hunger Walk the World event in Rio Claro for the past few years, and more recently, the Stand Against Poverty event in the same area. However, it was in the lead-up to the committee's youth walk held in commemoration of International Youth Day 2012 that an invitation was extended to the president. However, he was unable to attend and invited the committee to visit him at his office. On Wednesday, the president welcomed the committee members and expressed his pleasure in seeing a group from a rural community hosting such social events. The non-profit organization, which aims to create awareness of world hunger and poverty, spent more than an hour in the president's company sharing stories and a common vision to see the upliftment of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Following this, the American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago gauged an audience with His Excellency. AmCham represents 300 private sector companies, 25% multinational and 75% national. The Chamber's member companies represent over 90% of the foreign direct investment into Trinidad and Tobago, and AmCham has, in its short 20-year history, become the de facto preferred point of private sector representation for local, U.S. and multinational companies. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.